recent times, some states in Nigeria have been experiencing security challenges that have affected socio-economic activities, education, and livelihood in general. These security threats are multifaceted and peculiar to certain areas, states, and localities, ranging from armed robbery, kidnapping, terrorism, banditry, and secessionist agitations. If the popular saying, security is everybody's business, is anything to go by, then all hands must be on deck to ensure a holistic approach to bring all these to an end. Hence, this brings us to the responsibility of citizens and national security, which will be our focus on this episode of Dateline 360. Thanks for joining us on this program. I am Momso Damien Lati. Security experts have often advocated citizens' active participation in the fight against insecurity, especially at this period that the nation is confronted with a plethora of security breaches. But how much of the do's and don'ts of security measures in the society do people know? Onuti Yakubu in this report takes a look at the situation in the Federal Capital Territory.
Oftentimes, you hear Nigerians lament the failure of statutory agencies to address the number of security challenges in the state. And oftentimes, these same commentators seldom recognize their place or play active roles in the tripartite responsibility as citizens in the fight against the common enemy. In the forests, at the city center, joint operations, pin downs, boundary scouting, and as well, night patrols. All these are strategic mitigative efforts by men in uniforms to sustain offensives against the threat to security. But for far-reaching results, requisite support from the people is key.
They need to rise up to the occasion that the FCT is almost becoming like other states like Borno, Niger and all that, because these criminal elements are also coming into Abuja, you know. That slogan that says, see something, say something, you know, so they need to apply it.
It is holidays and that period of all-day marathon fanfare for children. But recently, a common enemy threatens this joyous experience. Insecurity ravages the society. But much worrisome is the question of people's level of security consciousness and their role in neighborhood watch. And so I sought this all-important question with these children. Surprisingly, 5-year-old Aisa Daniel turned out more security conscious than some adults.
If you see strange face, you hide, and then you call the police and run to your parents and tell them they're attacking our house.
I'll call my parents if they're expecting anyone, and if they're not expecting anyone, I call the police. I tell them that there's a stranger in my house.
Security consciousness help you to identify someone that you don't know and how to be careful in our environment.
Where did you learn all of this?
From school.
That is for Dada and his friends, thanks to the efforts of social institutions such as schools. But then the same thing cannot be said most of parents and adults in their situation. And the reason is not far-fetched.
Ill-informed moral grandstanding has been a major factor influencing individuals' role in strengthening neighborhood watch and involvement in community policing efforts.
As somebody who comes around here to do business, how often have you taken time to interact with people around here to strengthen community policing?
Actually, I've not done that because I don't want to push myself, ask him questions. It shouldn't look like maybe this guy is a spy or something like that, so I'll kind of maintain my talk.
But the problem we are having in Nigeria is that we are too moral. When I want to report somebody, I believe, I'm hurting him. I want to do him evil.
Dr. Yahuza Getso, a security intelligence and investigation consultant, argues that the people have not been proactive enough to utilize the strength of neighborhood synergy as stakeholders.
That there is need to have adequate, a very good synergy and harmonious relationship between the public and the services, especially between the leadership, the community-driven approach, like I keep emphasizing.
I want members of the public to have a very good relationship with the police. A few months ago, I rolled out the numbers of the DPOs. These numbers are not only to call and report incidents. Why not call these DPOs, go in there, go to the station, meet up with these DPOs. If you have a good relationship with the police, you will quickly inform the police that there is a new strange face around our area, this is how he's behaving, and that could be useful.
Security observers say addressing security threats require advocacy, leveraging on information technology, multiple stakeholders collaboration, and strengthened manpower strategies to address the challenges. In Abuja, Onotu Yakubu for Dateline 360.
That was incisive. Thank you, Onotu. Following recent recurring bandit attacks in some parts of Katsina State, Awal Hali reports that community participation in security management from the grassroots is playing significant roles in curtailing insecurity in the state. The current security challenges bedeviling parts of the state is taking its toll on social and economic activities of the people, posing serious threats to life and property of the citizens. Katsina State government, on its part, is adopting all strategies necessary to maintain peace and security in communities through grassroots mobilization and reorientation. Part of the strategies is the three-tier security structure initiated for community participation and contribution towards base containment measures in addressing the challenges. It was also intended to promote collaboration between communities and security agents in order to provide a homegrown approach towards finding lasting and adoptable solution.
Any potential threat, people should be alerted. Because like what the incident that happened at Nkatako here in Katsina, we were told that when they started moving towards the area, some good Samaritan quickly alerted the security agencies.
It's as if the security operatives are overwhelmed with the insecurity that is going on in our society. So we need to have a collaborative effort.
Shola Quarters, a residential area in the suburb of the state capital, came under bandit attacks in recent times, leading to the killing of 2 persons and adoption of many others. With the reoccurring situation, residents of the Shola Quarters mobilized a vigilance group, and through information sharing, they were able to alert security operatives who succeeded in repelling another attack in the area.
We had gunshot in the middle of the night. We communicated among ourselves where we alerted the joint security team. We really appreciate the security operatives for responding on time.
He added that through such efforts, members of the vigilant group are working with joint security operatives comprising police, military and civil defense in patrolling the communities to ensure adequate security.
This development is an indication of impacts of community policing, where residents in Katsina are resisting attacks on their communities.
Traditional institutions, on the other hand, are also mobilizing their subjects and encouraging them to take active part in security management. Committees have been set up to be monitoring situation and report any suspicious move to security agents for prompt action.
You don't have to just sleep and say let the government. Government cannot do everything for us. We have to assist the government effort, the community effort, as well as the federal effort. The police are doing their best, the soldiers, and all these paramilitary operators.
The office of the district head of Katsina has set up a security committee at the ward level to monitor the situation under Operation Know Your Neighbor. This is with the intention of providing channel of communication.
They are optimistic that such efforts will complement the continued commitment of government at all levels and the security agencies. Awal Haliru for Dateline 360. And now to Maiduguri, which has a peculiar case. People living in the northeastern region, particularly in Borno State, have continued to show great concern in keeping vigil on happenings around them to strengthen security for the sustenance of peace. Bemuna Garba reports.
The peculiar security challenges in the northeast, especially Borno State, was contained due to the stimulus and tremendous support of residents, where youth from all walks of lives in the capital city rose to protect their communities against the insurgents.
If you go every nook and corner of Borno State, the CJTF are there. And the CJTF, in fact, do give confidence to the general public. And the terrorists or the insurgents themselves, they are very much aware. And they find it very difficult to come in where the presence of the CJTF and the motivation of the general public.
This onerous responsibility by the citizenry has greatly reduced the wave of insurgency, thereby restoring relative peace in areas hitherto living in perpetual fear of the unknown.
Security agents and the governments and the youths now, they are doing their best, monitoring and counseling the communities, making highlight to the community to accept, yes, those boys are.
This development also made people become more conscious of happenings around them, thereby increasing support and collaboration with security operatives.
The police are engaged into partnership with the particular local community you find yourself. You understand their tradition and culture so that you can be able to police them well. This is what we are doing in this very crucial time, and to be sincere, we are getting results. As such, the crime rate in Borno State in particular, if you can compare it with other states in the country, you can now see that it is drastically reducing.
The police in Borno is not relenting in exploring other means of getting information using scientific approach and technical aids, among others.
There are various instances where we are given various credible informations which we refine and process and make it an actionable intelligence which we use to avert incidences.
Both the police and the military have contributed a lot in the restoration of peace to Borno. However, the principle of community policing imbibed by the people at the wake of Boko Haram crisis has succeeded in addressing the challenges, as the insurgents could no longer hold sway due to intense vigil on who cohabits in a community.
The police force and particularly traditional institutions and local stakeholders collaborate more in order for the community and the police to work together in order to provide adequate security for our state and for our country.
In spite of the citizens' contributions to strengthening security in Borno, some people are still skeptical in giving information due to the fear of exposure to the criminals, leading to reprisal, as witnessed during the peak of the insurgency, where many people were either killed or attacked.
We have this issue of trust deficit. They will report, but you don't see people responding in good time. And the key challenges is not directly related to the citizens, but to the structures on ground.
Normalcy has now been restored to most part of Borno by security forces, with most of the successes attributed to intelligence gathering and conscious effort by the citizens to ensure the criminals are routed. For Dateline 360, Memuna Garba.
Agencies and stakeholders to proactively tackle these challenges.
Women in most countries of the world constitute about 50% of registered voters.
Kevin Williams reporting for Dateline 360.
In Jos, Caleb Gochin.
Naja'atu Tijani.
Dateline 360. Shidi Okrafo.
For Dateline 360.
In Lagos, Michael Olaleye.
Reporting for Dateline 360.
I am Omosola Omojola. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go southeast now. Udo Okoronko Chukwu reports that through community policing, citizens are now turning the tables on criminals in Anambra State.
Power sharing is one of the core principles of community policing. In Anambra State, the police and the communities are not only working very well together, but also building for the future by recognizing that community policing is a new philosophy that provides the flexibility to meet the local needs of the people. Trust and shared interest between the police, government, and its citizens in the protection of lives and property in the state are two forces driving citizens' everyday activities in forestalling security threats in their neighborhood. citizens are bolder and co-actors in intelligence gathering. For example, operations that smash kidnapping syndicates in several communities in the state, like Ihiala, Newi, Achala, Mpo, Oko, among others, were made possible through the information volunteered by members of the communities. Therefore, the principles of community policing through positive interaction, partnership and problem solving has been effective in addressing security challenges in Anambra State.
We are trying to make sure that they trust us more. They trust us more with information. Currently, I'm telling you that what we are having now is as a result of the support we just got from the Anambra.
The state has 3-tier channels of communication that has helped in the quick response of security agencies in cases of criminal threats to properties and to lives of citizens. The police has control room that handles distress calls, while the government and community leaders also have well-established medium through which they communicate with citizens and the law.
The Nigerian police force has always been on the think tank table, re-strategizing to make sure that we enhance our response time.
By all intents and purposes, we expect that the phone lines that we have given out for them to use will continue to be available 24/7.
The police themselves are trying their best. They carry out occasional patrol and they make use of these vigilante people.
There are instances where community members with the assistance of security forces have checked the activities of criminals in their areas. Few weeks ago, the joint security forces invaded the camp of unknown gunmen in Nnewi South. Their confessions has helped to solve other cases. A priest and 3 others who were kidnapped by criminals operating within Oko and Ekulabia axis were rescued, while their hideout at Oba in Idemili local government area was demolished. The people expect that the peace they are enjoying now as a result of the collaboration between the police and citizens will continue. For Dateline 360, Udo Okoronkwachuku, NTA News.
Community policing through effective intelligence gathering and the mobilization of law-abiding citizens has been one of the major strategies being adopted by the police and other relevant authorities to strengthen the renewed commitment towards achieving lasting peace in Zamfara State. Jamilu Ibrahim takes a look at how well this has played out so far.
In Zamfara State, the police and other relevant authorities have since recognized this fact as demonstrated by their decision to embrace community policing through effective intelligence gathering and mobilization of citizens to be more security vigilant in their respective communities.
We have been receiving informations that so thing is about to happen. We have cited people who don't trust them. And that has been giving us the opportunity to prepare for these people, these criminals.
In addition to the conventional method of community-driven intelligence gathering, Zamfara State government has liaised with the Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy to establish an emergency communication center in the state.
We always urge the citizens to always call this national emergency number 112 as far as they are in Zamfara State or across the 40 local government of the state. Our coordinators will coordinate the call and make sure that that complaint is channeled to the respective authority concerned.
Suggestion and complaint boxes have been also mounted at strategic places across the state.
This is one of the complaint boxes mounted at one of the strategic places in Gusau, the state capital. Now the pertinent question is, how well has this strategy played out?
Since we started this system, we have seen a lot of positive results. Bandits' movements are being monitored and are reported to appropriate security agencies, and the security agencies are taking appropriate action.
Despite the positive remarks by the relevant authorities, some people are still hesitant to embrace the strategy.
Sometimes you see a member of community will go and report a criminal, and the criminal will gang up and go and attack the person at home. He'll be wondering how he went alone to inform the security agents, and all of a sudden he just experienced his house being burnt or his children attacked or kidnapped. So that threat and fear is actually making citizens to avoid leaking secrets.
Some respondents have strongly advocated for security agencies to give more emphasis on sourcing information from traditional institutions, arguing that it is more effective and reliable.
The hamlets are there. We give them orders. We give the village heads. We give the district heads. And we say anything happening in your area, you are supposed to report.
Another serious concern for stakeholders in the fight against insecurity in Zamfara State is the issue of informants to the terrorists. Zamfara State government says the recent recruitment of 500 security protection guards in each of the 19 emirates across the state has assisted immensely, and the guards had in many occasions successfully repelled deadly attacks on their respective communities.
It is the strong conviction of most of the stakeholders interviewed that the issue of informants must be adequately addressed and public confidence in the police improved if the ongoing renewed commitment to achieving lasting peace in Zamfara State is to succeed. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim reporting for Dateline 360.
And finally, we move to Imo State, where residents of Owerri, the Imo State capital, are of the opinion that the fight against insecurity requires collective efforts if modalities instituted by the government must produce the desired result.
Nigeria has over the years been faced with security challenges, a situation that has brought about a negative and worrisome turn. To address this, both the federal and state governments, among other things, have been working in synergy with security agencies, resulting in the level of success so far recorded. Residents of the Imo State capital are of the view that the role of citizens cannot be overemphasized.
Government herself should make sure that all these youths are gainfully employed. We are organizing serious vigilante groups, sensitizing our young youths, telling them the needs not to involve themselves in this type of problem.
If anything happens, any nearer person to that, they will start knocking so that to alert the entire community that is danger, so that all of us will just work and do the needful.
Eze Clinton Ubebulam is a traditional ruler of Umoronjo community. He says members of the community have come to terms with the need to safeguard their neighborhoods.
The vigilante need vigilante materials to work effectively. If vigilante is not adequately funded in the communities, there's nothing we can do. And these are the grassroots. The grassroots are owned by the traditional rulers. And in our own area, if for any reason maybe I have one or two bad ones in my area, it's a very simple thing for us to handle them. We don't have to handle them.
Security agencies have continued to advance the need for an all-inclusive approach to the fight against insecurity, which has prompted the slogan, "Security is everyone's business."
When you see anything that is clandestine, something that is unusual within your community, within your environment, you immediately alert the security agencies. It does not mean you alert the police alone, but other security agencies, because we work in synergy. That is one. Then two, individuals, they have the power to arrest. You can immediately arrest such person and then hand over to security agencies. Also, criminals live within us. So it is very, very important when we see any person we reasonably suspect, we report such person.
The state government is adopting several measures for an all-inclusive approach towards ensuring that citizens participate actively in achieving national security.
We now have a network of locally organized vigilante groups in the state. And part of the responsibility of the vigilante groups, of course, is intelligence, meaning giving or providing information and data that then can be used to come up with actionable intelligence. So there has been several instances where we have vigilante members and even just general members of the community who have information. We have instances where there are some criminal syndicates who are engaged in kidnapping, and we get intelligence about it, and we send security officers to go and prevent those activities.
Always remember to say something when you see something strange around your environment. Chukwu Bieke Chukwu for Dateline 360.
And with that, we draw the curtains on today's episode of Dateline 360. Don't forget, security is everybody's business. Thanks for your time. Let's do it again same time next week. I am Momso Damien Ati. Stay safe and God bless Nigeria.